Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Willis, and you will love economics. Monopolies are inefficient in three ways. They overcharge their price, they underproduce their output, and they waste scarce resources with excessive production costs. This means that monopolistic firms are both productively and allocatively inefficient in the long run. In this video, we'll take a look at monopolistic inefficiency. Let's start with how price-making power makes a monopoly inefficient.
In a perfectly competitive industry, product price is established at market equilibrium. Through voluntary exchange, market supply and demand sets a price level that is mutually beneficial to buyers and sellers. Consumers can buy an optimal quantity of output at a price far below their buyer's maximum price, and firms can sell an optimal quantity of output at a price far above their seller's minimum price. This allows buyers to maximize their consumer surplus, while firms simultaneously maximize their producer surplus in an allocatively efficient market. Now compare that to a monopoly. As the sole supplier in the industry, the monopolist has price-setting power. Unlike a perfect competitor, which must sell all of its output at a price level set by the market, the monopolist has the ability to sell its goods at the highest price that consumers are willing and able to pay, according to market demand. This allows the monopolist to overcharge consumers compared to the equilibrium price that would be charged in a perfectly competitive industry. Because goods are more expensive, some buyers are priced out of the market because they can't afford to pay the market price set by the monopolist. This reduces consumer accessibility to economic goods, prevents the maximization of consumer utility, and reduces consumer surplus for buyers, demonstrating how price-setting power makes a monopoly inefficient. Monopolies are also inefficient because they underproduce their output. When a perfectly competitive industry is at equilibrium, the quantity supplied by firms equals the quantity demanded by consumers, and the market is allocatively efficient. A perfectly competitive firm properly allocates its resources to produce the socially optimal quantity of output to meet the needs and wants of consumers. But monopolies are built differently. For the monopolist, the marginal revenue of each additional unit sold is less than the price per unit at every quantity demanded. This means that marginal revenue is less than demand at every output level. Using the optimal output rule, the monopolist will set its profit-maximizing level of output, where the marginal revenue of the last unit produced equals its marginal cost. On the graph, this optimal level of output can be found where the marginal revenue curve intercepts the marginal cost curve. Compared to the socially optimal quantity of output produced in a perfectly competitive industry, a monopoly underallocates its resources and doesn't produce enough output to meet the needs and wants of consumers, leading the monopolist to be allocatively inefficient. Need more proof? Compare the consumer and producer surplus of an allocatively efficient market to that of a monopoly. When producing the socially optimal level of output at a mutually beneficial price, a perfectly competitive industry maximizes both consumer and producer surplus at market equilibrium. However, because the monopolist underproduces its output and overcharges its price, an industry dominated by a monopoly will experience deadweight loss. Deadweight loss represents the portion of consumer and producer surplus lost to both buyers and sellers due to market inefficiency. The presence of deadweight loss proves that the monopolist has failed to maximize consumer and producer surplus, and is therefore allocatively inefficient. Monopolies are also productively inefficient. In competitive markets, every single dollar of profit can make the difference between staying in the market or losing out to other firms and going out of business. The intense competition in the industry will motivate firms to waste as few resources as possible at whatever plant capacity they choose to operate in the long run, causing firms to produce output at the lowest possible total cost per unit, which is located at minimum ATC. However, because the monopolist doesn't experience the intense competition found in more competitive markets, the firm doesn't feel the same pressure to produce at productively efficient levels. Monopolies use high barriers to entry to prevent new competitors from entering the market, which enables them to maintain their dominant control in the industry and earn economic profits in the long run. With no pressure to reduce waste and decrease costs in order to beat potential competitors, the monopolist has no incentive to alter production to a more productively efficient level. This means that the firm will produce output at a total cost per unit that is higher than its long-run minimum ATC. Despite its productive inefficiency, the industry's high barriers to entry will prevent potential competitors from joining the industry, allowing the monopolist to maintain total market control and earn economic profits in the long run.
And that's monopolistic inefficiency. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting the red button below so you can receive alerts about new videos when they become available. If you enjoy the channel or find my videos useful, let me know by liking the video, and feel free to leave a comment below. We have full video lectures on every topic in macro and microeconomics, as well as quick macro and micro minute videos for cram sessions and quick reviews. If you'd like to learn more, you can click here for my video on regulating monopolies, or you can click here for my video on consumer surplus, producer surplus, and deadweight loss. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time on You Will Love Economics.